I am so excited that you decided to come back for another session. And I want to know whether or not you can leave work at work. Now, there are many different professions out here. I'm just amazed. There are folks that do the most obtuse type of work. And I just never even thought about getting into that type of work. But let's talk about just conventional type of working environments. And give you a couple of examples. It's where you're in a position that you're an entrepreneur, you're the owner, you have employees that are working underneath you, you have bosses above you. When we start thinking about whether or not you can leave that work at home, is this self-induced pain and suffering, or is it given to you by management that tells you that you have to have pain and suffering? So let me just talk to you about entrepreneurship real quick. I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time, the majority of my life. I am not necessarily employable at this time because I have these attitude issues about how to work, when to work, what's important at work, and due to me going through a number of businesses and recessions and working with different groups and generations. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's difficult to leave work at work. So I had to come up with some criteria that allowed me to not worry about tomorrow, not worry about me not getting stuff done, not worrying about cash flow, not worrying about how much money is in the bank and how much debt am I ringing up. Am I making the right business decisions financially? Am I hiring the right kind of people? Am I working with the right kind of clients? Am I marketing? Do you see how that just as an entrepreneur, because you are the one that has the hat and you've got to be able to manage a number of balls in the air at the same time. So what I came up with was a series of rules that, when I left my desk and I left the place where I was at, I was able to start to relax. I didn't bring it home so that I would fight, that I would treat others and family members inappropriately. Understand that in the beginning, when I was young and foolish, I didn't have these skills. So as I matured, I soon realized that if I want to hurt my family, I bring my work home. If I want to be angry because of something that happened in the workplace that is no fault of the family unit, I need to be leaving that in a different place. And I also need to set priorities as far as who's most important. Is it my family? Is it the business? Or is the business higher than the family? Or is money higher than the business and the family? You need to set those priorities. So let's talk about where you're in an environment that you can pretty much just leave whatever was there at work and not worry about it. Well, an example would be retail. An example would be restaurant, as long as you're not the owner or the chef or somebody like that. And reality is yeah, you can do that. There's a number of government jobs that as soon as you're done, you don't need to worry about what was left over. You don't have to worry about that stack of papers. You'll just get to it. So where I'm going with this is that a lot of males have issues with leaving work at work. And it causes so much stress when they get home that they are aggressive towards their partners, they're aggressive towards other family members, and what happens is they have zero vitality. They cannot perform because they're thinking about, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, or my boss is doing this or that. Well, understand that when we talk about anxiety and we talk about overwhelmment is where we put this on ourselves, and anxiety is where somebody else puts this stress on us. And when we make the decision that we're not going to allow people to put stress on us and we're going to have boundaries, then our lives are going to get so much better. So we need to be able to break out of this cycle. And so me as a baby boomer, I live to work. I really enjoy the work that I do. I love challenges. I'm very competitive, and it does give me a self-worth. Generation X, that's the generation after the baby boomers. They're more self-sufficient, resourceful, but they work to play. So that's a different mindset. They're not as motivated to be at the chain to the desk, and they have the ability to leave work at home. Then, you have millennials. Millennials are impatient at the workplace in the sense that they feel that the rise to the top and the big bucks, the six figures, the 10 figures, that should happen in a week, 2 weeks, maximum a month. And my point there is that their ability to leave work at work is high because they know how to manage the work, get the work done, and then they're able to start to relax. Let's just talk about the bottom line. If we are able to relax, meditate, do yoga, be outdoors in harmony with nature, the chances of our blood pressure going up, our anxiety going up, overeating is going to be minimal. And that's going to make our lives absolutely fabulous because we're going to be actively making decisions in our health. We are going to be seeking the right types of food. We will be paying attention to the ingredients that we put into our food and into our bodies. We will be also determining whether or not the exercise that we're doing is really performing what we need. And I'll tell you that I am not a speed skater. I am not a men's, what is that called? Well, anyhow, ice skater. Because I just don't like the cold. But water skiing, absolutely. When I go out onto water, I feel absolutely incredible, and that's how I relax. So, bottom line, what we need to do is figure out if we can leave work at work and not have any other things tied to it. So, to give you the big tip that I had to learn in order to keep work at work is this: I'm in a business where nobody dies. That's it. So if nobody dies, then what's the probability that by the time I quit and come back to work, somebody's going to die? Should be really low because in my business, nobody dies. And the other part about it is that stack of papers, all those phone calls, all the stuff that I've been pushing back, well, if I really wanted to do it, I'd get it done. But if I don't want to and I'm procrastinating, then I need to forgive myself and not have the stress. So those are the tips and the ideas that we need to be carrying with us in order to reduce our stress and leave work at home. Work at work. That was a trick. Freudian slip. So make your comments. I look forward to you joining and learning more about men's health. Thank you again.